Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight for our third Parent University workshop at Poly, the third in our series of Parent University workshops, where we have a different workshop each Tuesday. And this Tuesday, we are featuring resources for success. And tonight, we'll be looking at district resources for success, so different programs that Long Beach Unified offers. And we also have a special guest tonight with us. Our special guest is from the Long Beach Public Library, who's going to go over all of the different resources that they have at the library that are free of charge, and from tutoring to extended learning to robotics. There's a lot of things happening in our Long Beach library. So I'm going to pass the mic over to her in just a moment. But I'm going to start by just going over a few things we have in Long Beach Unified that some parents know about, some parents don't know about. Things like Parent View, where you've logged on to Parent View before, and maybe you've looked at, you did your choice application in middle school or in elementary school, but there's a lot of information on Parent View that I found surprising just a few years ago as a parent here in Long Beach Unified, and I love to share that with all of you. So let's get started. One question I'd like you just to kind of think about as we start is, how do you know how your child is doing at this exact moment in their schools? So in school, how do you know how your kiddo is doing right now? Parent View, okay, Parent View. School Loop, right? School Loop, especially if you have a middle schooler or a high schooler. How about elementary? If you have an elementary student, how might you know how they're doing at this moment? School Messenger, Class Dojo. Class Dojo is a fun one. The teacher can really interact with those. Those are all good answers, and they're all correct, right? And what I'm going to offer you today is just a few other resources and a few other ways that you can just monitor how your student is doing in school. So by the end of today, what I hope that all of you know is to understand how to stay involved in your students' academics while they're in school and beyond, and know where to go to get information. If you have questions about their assessments, if you have questions about their district assessments, where can you go to get that information? So that's what we'll be focusing on today. Okay, and why is it important to stay involved? It's important to stay involved not just in elementary school, but through middle school and high school and beyond, because research has proven that students whose parents are more involved in their studies throughout school are more likely to get higher grades, to get higher test scores. They're more likely to turn in homework, to make sure that they stay on top of their assignments. And they're more likely to graduate high school and continue on to post-secondary education. So involvement is not just important when the kids are little and cute, we're helping out in their homeroom, but staying involved as they head throughout middle school and high school. Okay, so what does Long Beach Unified offer for parents? A lot of you said the right answers right here. Parent View, School Loop, there's Khan Academy. There's also a lot of resources at lbschools.net, which I'll be taking you through. Parent University workshops, so those of you who are here tonight and those of you who are watching, right? We have a lot of resources for parents in many different ways. In your Parent View, there is a high school readiness guide. And in your Parent View, if you have a high schooler, there is a college readiness guide. And so there's lots of tools and resources that Long Beach has provided for parents, and we'll go through a few of those tonight. There's also meetings that parents can attend. Long Beach Unified offers various meetings for parents to attend. The Superintendent Parent Forum is offered monthly, where the superintendent invites in guests and he himself goes over lots of new initiatives. He goes over district resources. You can also watch these live stream. You can also watch the Superintendent's Parent Forum in videos and YouTube. So they're cataloged there for parents to go back to and turn to as a resource. We have the Concerned African American Parents meetings that are monthly. Monthly, there are ELAC meetings for special language or for our second language learners, the Special Education Community Advisory Committee, School Site Council, Parent University, online workshops and classes at your school sites. And to find out when these meetings are, you can go to our district website. So if you go to Parent University, hello, come on in. You can go to Parent University, you can click on a button, and it'll take you to the calendar. And on Parent University, you'll then see all of the calendar of all the events. So if you want to attend a meeting or you want to check out a meeting that you haven't heard of before, whether it's our Pacific Islander voyage or any of the meetings, they're all on our district calendar. And so you can check out our website, and all of the meetings are there. Okay. Another resource besides attending meetings or viewing meetings online is Parent View. So those of you who are here, I asked you to log into Parent View as you logged in, and I see some of you have your phones out. For those of you at home, you can also log into Parent View as we're going through these. Parent View is a great resource, and it's not just for checking who your kid's teacher is in August. I know that's why a lot of people log in. They want to see who their teacher got assigned close to school. But there's a lot of more resources on Parent View. On Parent View, You can check your attendance. You can check your students' tardies. You can also check how they're doing on district tests. For example, in students, they take district math assessments, district ELA assessments, and you can check and see how your students are doing on those. The state test, so if you have a 3rd or 4th grader or above, you can check how they did on their SBAC. You can check permanent grades and achievement reports from elementary school. You can also check personal information. So something good to check on ParentView periodically is to maybe update the emergency contacts, update phone numbers, update addresses if that ever needs to happen, so that you're constantly getting all the communications that Long Beach Unified is offering. So checking your address is an important one too. Okay, so how do you get to ParentView? You can log on to ParentView through the district homepage. So you can log in. You can also log in using the app. So we have a new app that's also pretty handy on your phone. You can go to the Parents tab at the top, and it'll say ParentView Login. It'll take you to this screen. If you've never logged in before, you'll have to enter an access code, and you can get that access code from your school counselor or from your school office. And so you can get that in the office. If you've forgotten your code, you can ask for a reset button. Now the reset button, they're going to send the reset to your original email address that you used. So say when your kiddo was in kindergarten and you had a Hotmail account, and that was the address that you used to enter into ParentView, but now your 5th grader is applying for middle school and you've forgotten your code and you're putting in the address to say send me a new account or send me a new link, but now you have a Gmail account. ParentView is going to send it to your original account. So this is where we see a lot of parents calling saying, I can't get into ParentView and I've asked for a password reset, and that's why. It's because it's going to send it to your original email. There's 2 ways you can do that. You can log into your old email to reset the password, or you can go to your school counselor, or not your school counselor, sorry, to the school attendance clerk, and they can fix the email for you, but you'd have to go into the school site to do that. That's just for your student safety, to make sure that it is really you that's changing the password on those accounts. Okay, so you're into ParentView. When you log into ParentView, you should see all of your kids. So you should see all of your kids on your ParentView. You shouldn't have to have one account for each of your kiddos. So all of your kids should be on the same account. So I'm going to click on one kid here, and a real tool that a lot of parents don't access quite often, it's called Assessments and More. Sorry, I'm trying to get my little thing. It's called Assessments and More. And there's a lot of great information on Assessments and More. So if you are playing at home and you want to click that button, I see a lot of people in here clicking that button. When you click on Assessments and More, and if you're on the app, it looks like this. It's going to take you to a screen. And this is a screen that when you work in Long Beach Unified, this is the screen that we see when we pull up your kiddo. You are seeing all the information that we have on your student. So you really think of ParentView as kind of like the portfolio on your student. And so if you click on Assessments and More, you'll see here state tests. You could be able to check the SBAC scores going back to 3rd grade if you were to click on state tests. District tests. These are those district assessments that I was telling you about. This is a great way to see how your child is doing, perhaps before the SBAC in June. So your 3rd grader, your 4th grader is taking a district assessment, and they're taking the same district assessment that all students in the district are taking. And it's a really good way to check your students' progress. You know, you can really tell how they're doing and check on a regular basis. So for example here, I think I have an example. Here I can see this student. I can see their information going all the way back to 1st grade here. How they did on open court assessments. I can see this student, how they're doing on district assessments. So this was a math in 6th grade. I see here that they met, and then they went to exceeded, and then they went back down to met. So this is where as a parent you could ask and say, what happened there? Not that met is a bad score, it was great, but they were exceeded. And if you want to continue to see progress, you want to continue to see that going up, this is where as a parent you could stop and ask the teacher questions saying, hey, you know, how did my kiddo do on that last test? Is there something I need to know? This is where as parents we don't need to know how to do the math. We don't necessarily need to know how to go in and teach them the math, but this is where we as parents can stop and ask questions, right? This is where we can follow along and say, okay, if the progress isn't there, if I'm not seeing my student progress the way I want them to progress, this is where we can ask in parent-teacher conferences. This is where we can email the teacher and say, hey, I saw some concern. I saw that my student dipped a little bit or is not met. and I want to make sure that they can get there. So Parent View is a great resource to really follow how your student is doing. And again, you can see all the way down to kindergarten some of the resources. So you can hopefully see a trend that's on the upward path, right? You don't want to see a whole lot of up and down, but this is where we can check that. Okay. Attendance. This is a great resource too. And as parents, I'm a parent in this district too. You know, I know when I drop my kids off, and my kids are pretty good, they go to school, but when I looked at their attendance, I saw that there were some unexcused absences. And I asked my kids, I said, what do you mean that absence was unexcused? We went to the doctor and I gave you the doctor note. She forgot to turn it in. So it's a good way to check your absences, just to check, make sure they're turning everything in. When you click on absences, it takes you to this screen. On this screen, this is my daughter. I'll share that with her. She'll love that. This is my daughter's, and I noticed that she was tardy for her 5th period, right? And so I asked her, I said, why were you tardy for 5th period? And she told me, well, one of her friends got a lot of balloons for her birthday, so she was helping her to class with all of her stuff, and she was late for math. So I said, okay, but I was able to check on that and follow up off of it because I noticed that she was late for class. So this is, again, a way that you can check to make sure, make sure your kiddos are getting to class, make sure that they don't have tardies. So it shows you not just absences, but also tardies as well. Social emotional learning. When they take the core survey, when they take the SBAC exam, they also take a social and emotional learning, not just English and math, but they're taking their social emotional growth too. So here we see, you can check and see a student's self-management, growth mindset, social awareness. This is all students self-evaluating. So again, this is where you hope to see at least it remain the same or growth, but this student dropped. So again, as a parent, this is where you might want to say, hey, tell me more. Why do you think that went down? This student self-assessed. So you might ask, why do you think you scored yourself a little bit lower? Just to start the conversation. So parents can have access to this too. Okay. So again, Parent View, it's like the district's permanent folder, the permanent record on all your students, okay? School Loop, somebody mentioned School Loop. School Loop are day-to-day assignments, a homework assignment, a test, a quiz. So School Loop is a way to monitor your students' everyday assignments. And these grades might change day to day, right? So one day you might take a quiz, next day a project might go in. It's not the permanent grade, but these are grades that are very fluctuating. And so here you see the dashboard. For those of you who have done Parent View or School Loop, this is pretty common. You look at the dashboard. I invite you to go a little bit deeper than just the dashboard. So here this student has 4 missing assignments, and you can click on progress report. So the next thing as a parent I would do is click on progress report to see what those missing assignments were. And it takes you to this graph here. An important thing to look at here are not just the missing assignments, but here you also want to look at what category it's in. In middle school and high school, a lot of assignments have categories. And if you see in the category page here that homework is only worth 10% of their grade, and tests and quizzes are worth 60% of their grade. So a student might get 100% all the time on their homework, but if they're bombing on a test, the test is worth a whole lot more on their grade. And so this is a good way to just dive a little bit deeper. And if you're wondering why your kid's grade maybe isn't rising, maybe they're not scoring high enough grades in certain categories, right? Just turning in homework isn't going to really raise the grade. But a project that's worth 100 points, that can have a big impact in a student's grade. So I invite parents to really dig a little deeper and to really look at the categories. So for this person, notice they have a 98% on their classwork. They have 100% on the assignments. They have 100% on homework. This kiddo actually has pretty good grades all the way down. I was looking for somebody who maybe had bombed their test. But this student had an 85% on their tests, which is worth a little bit more importance. And so this is a great way, again, as parents, if you're really trying to see how you can help your students, really look at the categories too. Okay. Okay, there's the example I was hoping to find. Sorry. So this one, this kiddo on their tests, that's worth 65% of the grade. Their average was a 70%, right? So it brought them down. Even though you have 100% on all your homework, those test grades need to bump up also. Okay, so Parent View, we talked about School Loop. Khan Academy is another resource that I'm going to quickly go over. Oh, no, scratch that. I'm going to go over our district website first, sorry. District resources. For each of the different subjects, from math to technology to English language arts to social studies. There is a district curriculum office and a district curriculum leader who has put together a plethora of resources for families. Sometimes when you're trying to help your kiddo at home and you just Google and you get all kinds of resources, it can take a long time to weed through what's good and what isn't. Our district curriculum leaders have already done that. So to find resources for math, for example, you can go to the district page and click on M, and it will take you to mathematics. If you click on mathematics, you then get to this page here. And on this page, there's a bunch of categories on the left, one of them being family resources. So when you click on family resources, it'll take you to websites for English, English addition, subtraction, how to help your kiddos with math, how to understand Common Core math. A great thing that you can also find here is the textbook. So if students want to access their textbook online, they can get to it from this site too, right? And this is the same for technology, to get parent resources on safe websites and cyber safety, English language arts, there's book recommendations, there's standards, all kinds of information depending on the subject on our district homepage. Another resource, parents have parent view, students have student view. And I bet if you were to ask your students, they've been on Student View and they know exactly how to get onto Student View. But as parents, we don't even know really what's on Student View sometimes. And so just kind of a glimpse into a Student View account, what Student View looks like. Students can access it just like parents can from the district website. So lbschools.net, they go into the Students tab. And this takes them to their screen. So each screen is really individualized for the student. And I apologize, I know it's a little bit dark in here. They can get to the G Suite. What is the G Suite? We don't use that term very often. But what that means is they can get to all the Google resources. So if they have a Google Doc or a Google slideshow that they're working on for a class, if they want to work on a presentation for one of their classes, they can get to the G Suite here, spreadsheets. So the G Suite is just everything Google. They have access to that in their student view. They have access to their student textbooks. And so if they have a math assignment, they could go into student view and their textbooks should be there. This is a middle school student with the Big Ideas Learning. Here is an elementary school student with the Core 5, the Lexia. You'll even see that GG Penguin. So if parents want kids to work on GG or ST Math at home, they can go to there from their student view. So this too is a resource. So no excuse not to have their homework done, right? They can log on from a phone. They can log on from the public library. They can log in anywhere to get their assignments done. And again, that's through the Student View portal on our lbschools.net. Okay, here's one last resource, Khan Academy. Long Beach Unified has a partnership with Khan Academy. When they are in 8th grade and they take the PSAT, their accounts become linked. And their accounts become linked, and there will be specific tutorials for Long Beach Unified students in their Khan Academy. And I know in middle school and in high school, they really utilize that source to boost up SAT scores. What I'm going to talk about is not necessarily that, but how parents can really interface with Khan Academy. When you log into Khan Academy, you can sign up and you can sign in as a parent. So when you go to Khan, you can sign in as a parent. There's all kinds of resources. The philosophy of Khan Academy is you can learn anything. And when you look at the catalog, there really are lots of options, from mathematics to social studies to art history to a language. Lots of resources on Khan Academy. What I like about Khan Academy is, as a parent, I can link my account to my students' accounts, to my kids. Over the summer, my kids were supposed to work on 20 minutes of math a day, and I'd be able to check on it through Khan Academy. So you see here, this student, she worked on it 23 minutes in the last 7 days, right? I can monitor. So this was great for a resource for a parent to not have to always stand over their necks, making them do those worksheets or making them do these handouts, but they can work on Khan Academy at their leisure on their own time. And as a parent, I could check to monitor how many minutes they're doing. What I like too about it here is it even tells the parent or the student how they're doing. So this student here, it tells the parent that the name of the student was struggling with 2 skills. And it shows the 2 skills that this student was struggling with in math. So again, if I wanted to follow up on it or ask the teacher or ask and just follow up on getting their grades boosted or getting their skills boosted, it tells me. Now for the student can go back into Khan Academy. They can watch some videos, They can get into some more instruction on mathematical concepts. They can take and retake different quizzes to get those skills up. But I love that it shows as a parent here that they need practice with a certain concept, that they were struggling with the concept, and this is all through Khan Academy. Okay. Has anybody in here logged on through Khan Academy yet? No? Well, I encourage you. Oh, you have? Okay, the students have, right? You have. What class do you use it in? Use it in math? Very good. Okay, this is just another slide showing that the student, so one student worked on it 0 minutes that week. The other student, again, 23 minutes. If you wanted to help your kiddos at home, you could look up certain things like Common Core Math. So this person, you could just Google into the to the search part, Common Core Math, and it comes up grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, and so you can Google even specific is Common Core Math. Okay, and Khan Academy does reward students. It'll give them little emojis, kind of like Class Dojo. They have a little character that rewards them as they go. Okay. Before I pass the microphone to our guest, Ms. Bautista, I just want to leave you with this, which is really is a driving force with a lot of what we do in Parent University. We really truly believe that it is not the socioeconomic status of a school or a family or prestige of a school that a student attends, but it's really the best predictor of student success is to the extent at which families are involved in their kids' education, to the extent at which families encourage learning at home and involve themselves. So I encourage you, and I thank you for watching at home. I thank you for being here today. And on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Bautista to give us more ways to encourage learning at home. So Ms. Bautista, thank you.
Thank you. Hi. My name is Cynthia Bautista. I am the Senior Librarian for Youth and Family Services Department at the Long Beach Public Library. I'm here to talk to you today about, do I have a clicker, Rebecca? About our services that we offer for students at the library. So we have 12 locations, 12 library locations. We have the Billie Jean King Main Library that just opened on September 21st. It is in downtown Long Beach, right on Broadway and Pacific. And we have 11 other locations. Let's see. Oh, thank you.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So let's see. So we have the main library on 200 West Broadway. And we have 11 other locations throughout the city of Long Beach. So our library hours are all the same except for the main library is open 1 extra hour on Tuesdays. It's open from 12 to 8. And we have 4 libraries that are also open on Sundays. That's the Bayshore, Burnett, Michelle Obama, and El Dorado libraries. Those are open on Sundays as well from 12 to 4 p.m. We have programs and services for people of all ages, from babies to adults. We have our story times at all of our locations. Those are usually for babies, toddlers, preschoolers. We also offer a bilingual story time at the Billie Jean King Main Library. That's every second Saturday at 10:30 and every Thursday at 2 p.m. We have family learning centers at most of our locations. Those are homework help centers, but also we offer resources for adults such as computer classes and job search. We have, as part of the family learning centers, we have a new program that we call the Supplybrary, which is a collection of school supplies that we give away to students for free. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. We also have reading programs for all ages. We have 3 main reading programs each year. So we have our first one is Dive Into Reading. Those are for children ages 0 to 4. And the purpose of this program is to encourage families to read 1,000 books together before the child begins kindergarten, which sounds really impressive, but if you start early, if you read a book every day, you'll be done in about 3 years. Or, most families end up reading more than 1 book a night. So it's very doable, sounds very impressive, and it's good practice for the children to start reading early. We also offer the summer reading program every year. That's for all ages from 0 to adults, and it usually starts the Saturday after school ends, and it ends towards the end of the summer. And right now we have our In and Out cover-to-cover reading program. That's for ages 4 through 12. That one is from October 5th to November 16th. All the children have to do is read 5 books, and they get a free In-N-Out burger for reading. And we have lots of online resources that I'll talk about in a little bit, also for all ages. So our family learning centers, like I said, they're available at most of our locations. The new Billie Jean King Main Library has our new learning center that is, I recommend that you go check it out. It's a really nice, really big space. The Michelle Obama Library also has a really nice big space that's open all the hours that the library's open. So at our learning centers, we offer a one-on-one assistance from trained learning guides that'll help you with homework help, with job searching. Some libraries offer one-on-one computer classes, or they offer like small group classes as well. And also 5 of our locations offer the school project library, which is on this slide. So like I said earlier, it is a collection of school supplies. So this is available for any student. All you have to do is walk in, show us your assignment, and we will give you the supplies that you need to complete your assignment. So you can get either like the trifold display, if you need like the foam boards or the foam balls or the diorama boxes, anything that you need, you get it for free at the library. And it's available for all ages, from kindergarten to college. That project is available at the Billie Jean King Main Library, the Michelle Obama Library, Hart, Mark Twain, and Burnett. And also, besides our offline programs, we also have lots of digital resources for all ages. If you visit our website, lbpl.org, you can click on research and then go to digital library to see the list of all the resources that we have online. We have online homework help, we have databases, online encyclopedias, and digital media that includes ebooks, audiobooks, music downloads, magazine downloads, and movies. Yes, actually our ebooks and e-audiobooks are through Overdrive, and I will talk a little bit more about that. No, that's okay. But yes, you're correct, it is through Libby. Our Brain Fuse is our online homework help service. It is free for students that are in kindergarten all the way up to college. There is a live tutoring option where you can connect with an actual tutor that will help you step by step with your homework assignment. That is available from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day of the week. We also have the writing lab where you can submit an actual writing assignment and somebody will give you feedback within 24 hours. That is also available for all ages. And it doesn't have to be homework. It can also be if you're doing creative writing or you need to write a letter, you submit the assignment or the writing prompt and they'll send you feedback. And that's available also for all ages. We have the Skill Surfer, which is a skills building service that helps students master a concept or a skill through state-aligned online lessons. And if they get stuck on a problem, you can always connect back to a live tutor that will help you step by step. We also have the LEAP learning platform that is customized learning plan based on diagnostic tests, specifically for help with like the SAT, the GED, college readiness exams. And then there's other things as well, like the flashbulb that are like flashcards that you can either find already created ones or create your own. And it'll be like online flashcards, but also you can create games with that, like hangman, bingo, things like that, using your vocabulary words. And then you'll see other tabs. There's also an option for adult learners. So there's also, for example, GED assistance, or if you need help with applying for a job, they'll also connect you with a tutor that'll help you either prepare for an interview or write your resume. This is an example of a live tutoring session. So on the right-hand side, you see the chat screen where the tutor and the student communicate with each other. On the left-hand side is the whiteboard where they can either draw or share a page from a website and complete the assignments together. On here, you see the sample of the writing lab. That is where you can submit your writing assignment. You select your file from your computer, you click submit, and then within 24 hours, you will receive feedback. On the right-hand side is the skill surfer. That is where you can practice a concept or a skill through the state-aligned lessons. And you can see there that it goes from elementary school all the way to college. And there's also a parent corner on there. Learning Express is another student service that's available online. This is there is no live tutor here, but there's more a collection of resources that you can view yourself. There's career preparation, there's help with high school equivalency exams, and this one is specifically for reading, writing, and math practice for 4th grade and above, as well as college admission practice tests. So like the AP exams, the SAT, the ACT. And we also have online encyclopedias. So if you remember using the old like World Book encyclopedias, that's the same thing, but now we have them available online. It'll include all of the same articles that you find on an actual encyclopedia, but now they're actually categorized at different levels. So if you like, for example, for the article for elephant, you can find an elementary version of that, which is a little shorter, a middle school version of that, which is a little longer, and then the high school version, which is the longer article. And it also includes videos, sounds, and other newspaper articles, things like that. So we have Britannica School and World Book online available for free. Opposing Viewpoints is one of my favorite databases. This is a premier online resource that covers today's hottest social issues, from climate change to immigration, and the different views help learners develop critical thinking skills. So, and also it helps them draw their own conclusions. So this is a rich resource for people that are working on a debate. It includes pros and cons for each subject. It includes reference articles, it includes maps, it includes infographics, videos, newspaper articles, and a lot more. And those are really good because they're constantly updated, and then right on the front, you'll see the hottest topics of today showcased. So that one is, I really recommend this one, especially for high school students. And then we have our digital media. I talked a little bit about all the educational services that we offer. The digital media includes a little bit more of the fun stuff. So you'll find here ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, videos, and music downloads. This is our Overdrive. This is where you find e-books and e-audiobooks. We have a good collection of children's and teen books. And if you download the Libby app on your phone, you'll be able to access the Overdrive collection on there. So you can download it either to your phone, your tablet, your computer, and it's really easy to navigate. If the book is checked out, you can be put on a hold list, and then once it's available, it'll automatically check out to your name. And then we also have Tumble Books Library. That's also an e-book collection, but that's for the younger kids. So it includes picture books. It includes a lot of popular picture books from popular authors. It also includes a lot of classic stories, and it makes it interactive. So they add like videos to the classic books, and they add games. And also you can select the option to read, so it can read it aloud to you. So that's a really good resource for students that are learning how to read. And then we also have the Tumble Book Junior that is similar, but it's for older kids. So it includes chapter books, read-along, graphic novels, audiobooks, and National Geographic videos. Next, we have Canopy. Canopy is a video streaming platform featuring movies, films, and documentaries. You can stream up to 6 films per month. And this includes videos from the Criterion Collection, the Great Courses, PBS, and lots of others. This is a collection of over 30,000 films, and they keep adding new videos to this all the time. And this app you can download to your tablet or your phone, or if you have a Roku, you can download it to that. And it's very easy to use. You don't have, once you connect to it, you don't have to like log back on or anything. And we have lots of programming throughout the year for all ages. I mentioned a little bit about story time. We have baby story time at many of our locations. That's specifically for ages 0 to 15 months. We have toddler story times. That one is for ages 16 to 35 months. And then we have preschool story time for ages 3 to 5. And these are always changing, so I recommend that you check our calendar as often as possible to see what programs we're offering. We have a studio at the new Billie Jean King Main Library. This is a makerspace. So it's open for all ages, from teens to adults. And we offer programs such as from sewing all the way to 3D printing and everything in between. These programs are drop-in, so you don't have to register before. And here is the event calendar of events for October for this month. So you can see there's things like Tinkercad, where they learn how to create their own 3D print job. There's Web Chat Wednesdays. So some of these are recurring programs. And there's others that are like one-time programs, such as the 3D printed bookmarks. There's Vector Graphics Introduction. So it's for all different levels, for all ages, and for all interests. We also have the Learning Lab at the Michelle Obama Library. That is kind of like a smaller studio, and it's the same location where we have our Family Learning Center. So it's a homework help center / maker space. So this is a sample of the programs that are happening this month. There's a Sewing Rebellion on October 19th. There's Vector Graphics for Beginners on the 22nd. Arduino Sensors on the 29th. And then we have a Music Production 101 on October 8th and 22nd. So like I said, they're offered for all different interests, for all different levels of expertise. And yeah, they're usually really fun. I recommend that you check out this studio. Yes?
Do you have to sign up for these classes?
No, they're all drop-in. Yeah. I think, I don't know if we have any where you have to register. Most of them are drop-in. If there is any that you have to register, it would say on the website, but I don't think this studio I think they're usually drop-in. Thank you. And then we have our College Readiness Fair happening this Saturday at the Billie Jean King Main Library. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's going to be free workshops, including how to get into your college of choice, application questions and essay support, succeeding as a first-generation college student. They're going to have Cal State and UC application assistance, budgeting 101, financial aid info, overcoming the imposter syndrome, and a lot more. So I recommend that you check that out. We've had other college readiness series, but this is the first time that we're having like a one big event. So I recommend that you check it out. All of this is free. For the programs, you don't need to have a library card. We don't ask for you to be a member to attend our programs. You do need a library card to access all of our online databases and to check out materials. But if you're just going to go to our programs, you don't need to be a member. And to be a member, all you need to do is you need to live in California and just bring in an ID with your current address, and you can sign up for a library card. So yeah, does anybody have any questions? That is a little bit of what we do at the library. I hope you learned something today.
Microphone real quick.
Do you have any of those packets of the slideshow that you did?
The slideshow, I don't have any with me, but you can call me and I can email you the.
I have everybody's email, and I can email it to you as well.
Okay, yeah. So
I
it
can
is
email
available.
to everybody who was here too.
It is available on PDF on PDF, so we can easily email it out to you. And I did bring some resources. We have the resources for students that includes like a little description of what each of the programs are that I talked about. I have a bookmark that talks about how to log into BrainFuse and how to log into Learning Express. And then I have a flyer for the college fair that's happening this Saturday. And also our bilingual story time that's happening at the Billie Jean King Main Library. And this program, it's completely bilingual. Everything that they do in Spanish, they also do in English. So it's perfect for bilingual or monolingual families. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much. I hope you get to visit us and you go check out our new Billie Jean King Main Library.
I have a question about
Yes.
that one. How's parking at the Billie Jean King Library?
Well, we have the same parking that we used to have before. We share the parking with the Civic Center. So it's right on the corner of Broadway and Chestnut, which is where you would park if you go to City Hall.
Any other questions for either of us, actually? I have a good connection between our two presentations. So last summer, I made my daughters do Khan Academy all summer long. And they didn't like doing it at home, but they loved going to the library. For some reason, when they went to the library, they would walk or ride their bikes over to our local library. They'd use the nice big computers that were at the library. For some reason, it was much more fun to do Khan Academy at the library. So and they really got to know the library that summer. They checked it out. They really had a fun time hanging out at the library because I guess it was much more fun than doing it at our
Especially
house.
The summer is especially fun because we have lots of programs for families. We have magicians, we have puppet shows, animal shows. So yeah, especially in the summertime, we have lots happening for families. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing all those resources.
Thank you.
Families will be around if you have questions for either of us about the workshops that we talked about. For those of you at home, thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of your Tuesday night, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.